Hi, everyone. Welcome to SBR Sports Picks. His name is Jimmy the Bag. My name is Peter Loshak. This is Loshak the Bag Show, morning edition for Friday, January 12th. Jimmy the Bag, we are taking it on the chin. You know, on January 1st, you know, I do this every year. I do this. I say, new year, new me. That's what I do. I go, hello, world. I have a message for you. New year, new me. But I didn't mean that I was going to become from a good handicapper to a crappy handicapper. And that appears to be what has happened in this new year, Jim.
Last night was the worst day I've had since I got to Costa Rica.
Unreal. It is a new me. It is a new year, a new me. But that's not a good thing. I went from a good handicapper to a shitty capper in the new year, Jim.
Oh, it's fucking unbelievable. I went over, had a coffee with Spidey. We talked about my results.
Unbelievable. And once again, we still don't have a charger here. So if we get rejected on the charger from SBR, we are going to start a GoFundMe account, a campaign to raise $20 to buy the charger. And I'm still waiting on a yes or no on that one. But if we get a no, then we're going to start a GoFundMe campaign to raise $20 to buy a charger so that I can have a tablet to read the comments. Jimmy the Bag. So I can't read the comments right now, but are you seeing any comments coming in? Anything bad? Anything bad? Bad comment?
No, man, these guys, they're not only great cappers, they're great guys, and they're not shitting all over us, which they could. They have every reason to.
They could. I mean, you know, when the picks are going bad, we lean on our jokes, so we're going to have to get some jokes going in this show, Jimmy the Bag.
I feel humorless right now.
That's the problem, because the picks sure aren't coming. But I feel like I got a bit snake bit, and man, once again, what happened with the Cavs last night? We can talk about that, I guess, in the NBA section. But what's up with that team, Jimmy the Bag? They are playing again tonight, but what's up with that team, Jimmy the Bag?
I just don't know what to make of this fucking squad, man. They were awful last night. I went on the under. I mean, there's no blame on anybody, but I went on the under last minute just because I heard Isaiah Thomas was out. He probably helped by going 2 for 15 anyways, even though he was in there. It's two bad nights back to back, and for whatever reason, since I've been down there, I haven't allowed these things to fester. I've stopped them when they've been happening, and I think I've got some dogs that I like here tonight, but there are tricky games. I find the Cavs-Pacers game tricky. The Jazz-Hornets game is tricky.
Cleveland-Toronto, that was my only winner last night, which was on the first half under, which did cash. But then, of course, the second half soared over, which is just sort of par for the course in the NBA. All sorts of unexpected things happen. And shout out to the guy who has said, I'm a Kings fan. I'm a Sacramento Kings fan. I know this team. I love this team. And they're going to lose tonight. And he was absolutely dead on. I'm telling you, I've been saying this from day one. Whenever you have a guy who's like, I'm from this school, or I'm a fan of this school, or I've been following this team my whole life for 20 years or whatever, I always take their opinion as more weight. I give more weight to their opinion than anything else in the handicapping world, Jimmy the Bag.
Yeah, and God, I mean, what gives me hope is you and the forum and working with you guys. Like, I know that we're too good to be held down like this. But
kind of like the Cavs, right? We're like the Cleveland Cavaliers of handicapping. We're Hall of Fame level talent, but right now we're completely shitting the bed and can't buy a winner, right, Jim?
That's a nice way to look at it.
Yeah, we're like the Cleveland Cavaliers right now. Just a complete head-scratching embarrassment, and yet obvious, undeniable Hall of Fame talent, right, Jim? I mean, I'm a Hall of Fame.
You're a Hall of Fame.
You're a Hall of Fame.
No, I'm not. I have not
We're
proved
shitting
myself.
the bed here, Jimmy.
I have not proved myself for long enough. You are a Hall of Famer. I have a long way to go.
All right, I think we made enough jokes to justify this show. So regardless of the pick, so let's move on, shall we? Jimmy the Bag. Let's start the show. Any comments coming in?
Yes, a ton, and all positive bounce back night. Yesterday in the rearview mirror, everybody's being very positive, and thank God. But I mean, every capper had trouble the last 2 nights, says Brian Watson. And Ryan Cartwright says, my Iron Man streak continues, not missing a show.
Oh, awesome. Ryan Cartwright. All right, save all those comments for me, Jimmy the Bag, because, again, I don't have thank you very much. Thank you very, very, very much. All right, let's get into today's card. Maybe we can turn things around. Maybe when things are at their darkest, that is when the light comes. That's a saying I just made up, Jimmy the Bag. When things are at their darkest, that is when the light comes. Peter Loshak, January 12th, 2018.
That's beautiful.
Let's make a meme out of that and send it all around the internet. When things are at their darkest, that's when the light comes.
Well, I
How
need
inspirational is that, Jimmy?
I need some fucking light, Pete.
Yes. Or how about when you are shitting the bed, that is when the bed can be cleaned.
It was close. It was close. You were on the right track, and then the last half didn't.
Yes. This is a message for us and the message for the Cavs. When you are shitting the bed, that is when the bed can be cleaned. A message of hope and inspiration.
A message of hope and inspiration.
To us, the Cavs, and to any other handicappers who are having a crappy time right now in their handicapping. All right, so what are we going to start with? I think we're going to start with NHL, right?
Yeah.
I guess we have to continue our tradition of throwing up the records. My NHL record is still fine, double digits. So we can start with that. When the NBA records come up, that's going to be a different story. But I am still up double digits in NHL, and I feel like Jimmy the Bag, you have a great read on NHL, but I feel like you push picks a little bit too. You love to jump the gun. You know what I mean? You love to, if there's 2 games on the card, you love to give a pick on every game. You know what I'm saying? Which I understand the instinct. Because I'm not so much of an eager NHL handicapper, I'm a little bit more reticent and picky with my picks. Let's talk about the first game that's interesting tonight, which is Washington, Carolina. Now, I did have a loser on Washington, -1 last night, and that's okay. Now they're on a back-to-back. Now they move to Carolina. This one has to, I'm assuming, did you look into this game, Jim?
I looked in every game.
I'm assuming it has to have Washington written all over it. I definitely like the overs in this one, first period and full game. I think I'm going to double up on it. And I'm thinking about Washington on the alternative puck line, although the line does appear to be moving in Carolina's favor, but just feels like a super obvious bounce-back spot for Washington. What do you think, Jimmy the Bag?
Yes, it feels like it's a super obvious bounce-back spot. Definitely. I'm still have some concern. Now, my lean was over, and I took it off.
Why?
I took it off. Well, let's break down the game a bit. So Scott Darling made 21 saves versus the Hurricanes last night. 3-1, great game. Cam Ward will be back in goal tonight. In January, he's 1-2-1 with a 3.89 goals against, average .855 save percentage. The Hurricanes are 10-4-4 at home, and they're 6-3-1 in their last 10. Both Sebastian Aho and Teravainen lead this team with 35 points. Noah Hannafin has been playing great. He's their lone representative in the All-Star game. Capitals are just 9-8-3 on the road, but are 6-2-2 in their last 10 following last night's loss. They're just not getting enough secondary scoring. When we were talking about them getting more secondary scoring, it was the idea that they were moving, that Oshie had moved on to that third line, and that third line was going to produce the Lars Eller and Oshie line. That is not happening. They're not getting scoring from anywhere. Burakovsky missed last night's game with an illness. He may be back tonight. He's got 3 goals in 21 games. They're just not getting enough scoring throughout their lineup. So my thought is that the Caps are going to play this like a send a message playoff type situation, but I don't see them opening it up that much. So that's my lean was over, and I had it written down. I've taken it off. I'm just going to take Caps on the money line in this spot. And that's what Alonzo Shivers just said he's doing right now. He says taking Washington on the money line. That's going to be my only play here, Capitals money line. Okay, Washington money line. Interestingly, the line has gotten bet up a little bit. Money coming in on Carolina. The best line right now is actually, let's see, where are we? Plus 108. Plus 108. Heritage has a plus 111, but that's their reduced lines, which we don't use. So Washington money line plus 108 is what you're going to take. I'm going to take Washington, and I'm going to take them on the -1 line. -1 line. So the money line part of that will be plus 108, and that is the line at betonlinesportsbetting.ag. And the alternative puck line, which I will use at Pinnacle, is plus 297. Plus 297. So that's a healthy -1 line there for Washington. I'm taking Washington money line -1. Money line is plus 108. Alternative puck line plus 297, and Jim's on money line plus 108. Some good notes here. Barsaman, our friend G11 says Grubauer in for the Capitals tonight. That's another thing I like about Washington. I think he is playing well, and I do think that Cam Ward is fadeable, but Grubauer isn't. That's why I like it. So Joshua Yanez says Washington the only play tonight. He's on the money line. I just think they're going to play this extremely seriously, and I can't trust their depth to produce any kind of scoring. Washington. Yeah. Because what about the Washington team total over, which would be relatively low here? 2.5, probably like -110 or 120 or something like that. I'd be curious to see exactly what it is. Yeah, it doesn't. It's not up at Pinnacle right now, but it'll be about 2.5. I would guess 2.5 -110, 115, something like that. Because it's a low total and they're a dog. I don't trust the Caps offense, and I'm not going to allow. I'm not going to put a action on it. But I do think that they're going to take this game extremely seriously.
Okay, I'm going to think about this because I was really liking overs in this one, Jim.
Joel Smith says, I like the over tonight in Caps. There's a couple people have mentioned that they like the under, but not as a lean. But Joel Smith says, I like the over tonight in Caps. So revenge. Canes will keep the pace. So I see a 4-2, 4-3 Washington.
All right, I'm actually going to start off with the first period over. What do you think about that? First period over. It's going to be minus 104 is the best line there at Pinnacle, minus 104, and the full game over. I don't know if I wanted to. And I was also thinking about take Washington on the first period. Is Washington to start out strong? What do you think? I think they do.
I do think they do, but But does that equate to offense? I don't know. I mean, I think they'll want to impose their will. I think it'll be Wilson and Ovechkin throwing their weight around rather than fast-moving offense.
Well, I was thinking about Washington on the first period money line, plus 103. Doubling up on it. What do you think?
I can understand the play. I can absolutely understand the play. Richie Rich comes in and says Washington money line's an absolute lock. Carolina minus 20 is all Vegas trickery. Minus 120. I can understand it, but I don't like it personally. Right. Benjamin Creasy says, you ever see value in plus 1.5? I don't.
At times there can be. It depends on, obviously, when you're taking those kinds of lines, you're expecting low volatility, very low volatility. That's when you would do that. High volatility is, and in general, NHL tends to have a lot of volatility, right? Volatility all over the place. Yeah. Empty net goals is the definition of volatility, and then unexpected plays is, so the reason, but when you were expecting low volatility, that's when you would take the big favorite lines where you're basically buying points. There can be, and once in a while I have taken +1 lines for sure. It's just because of volatility reasons. I usually like to take bet into high volatility in the NHL. All right, I will take the first period over 1.5 minus 104, and I'm taking Washington -1. Thinking about throwing on the full game over as well, and Jim's on Washington money line plus 108, right, Jim?
That's right.
All right, now let's move on to other games. Well, let's move on to, let's see, what is it? Well, okay, let's talk about Calgary, Florida. I think this game is going to be a total pass for me. Calgary just absolutely rolling, dominating. Florida, though, off of a long rest, what to expect from them. They, I believe, are coming off of a very high-scoring win as well. This is just an interesting game because of what to make of Calgary. Now, when a team is really rolling like this and they're on the road on a back-to-back, do you just bet them until they start losing, or what do you think, Jim?
I know cappers that do that, and I guess it does work in the long run. But I am going to take the over in this hockey game. Let's break it down a bit. So after beating the league-leading Lightning 5-1 last night, the Flames have won 5 straight. Johnny Gaudreau has 51 points in 43 games. He has 9 assists over his last 5 games, and that part of that the giant winning streak that they're on. Sean Monahan has 20 goals this season. He's tied for the league lead with 7-game winning goals. Michael Furlan is having a career year playing alongside those two with 19 goals. But this is a top-heavy group that's not getting offense down from anybody else. And since November 24th, the Flames are just 9 for 70 on the power play. So their first 4 wins, as we know, were just 1-goal wins until this breakout. Mike Smith has been absolutely incredible on the road this year. 8-3-3, 1.89 goals against, averaging a .946 save percentage, but he will unlikely be in net as is the second half of a back-to-back. Panthers just finished a 1-2-1 road trip with a big 7-4 win over the Blues. They got Radim Verbata back after a 5-game absence, and they only have Roberto Luongo on the injury report. James Reimer has made 15 straight starts. He's 12, 11, and 5 with 3.05 goals against, average .911 save percentage. I think that he's become a little more susceptible in the last couple games, and I think there's going to be goals here. The backup for the Flames has been playing well. He's a young kid playing well, but I still think this 5.5 line is juicy enough for me to take the over.
All right, so the best line right now is plus 100 at BetOnline, SportsBetting.ag, and a few other places. Over 5.5 plus 100. Yeah, huge scoring game against St. Louis, Florida is off of, and Calgary on a back-to-back. That sounds good, Jimmy the Bag. Actually, I'm thinking it's a good play.
I just feel like that Florida is healthy.
Yeah.
And their forwards are very offensive. They don't, other than Vincent Trocheck, who I love. He plays both ends of the ice so well. They're actually 11-3-1, I believe, when he scores a goal. Other than him, they have kind of a European flair. They have a lot of offense and not a lot of truculence and not a lot of defense. And Barkov as well is a good defensive forward. So I don't mean to paint them all on this with the same brushstroke, but I think they're going to be an offensive team moving forward. The Flames just had a great 5-goal run last night.
I might tail that one, Jimmy the Bag. I'm going to look into that a little bit more and think about it, but I might wind up tailing that one. Jimmy the Bag is going to take the full game over 5.5 plus 100. Now let's look at Winnipeg, Chicago. Winnipeg, of course, absolutely rolling, right? 1-6 of 7. But now they're on the road, and I'm thinking maybe Winnipeg only just sort of they're great at home, and then they beat bad teams on the road, but struggle against mid-range and higher teams, which maybe Chicago is here. Maybe we take a shot with Chicago, and of course both these teams can score, but I'm thinking maybe under the very high total here, which is 6. What do you think, Jim?
That's my play. I think the contrarian play, even though I guess it doesn't look like that because there's a slight juice towards the under 6. I like the under here. There was talk here that Glass was going to be in goal tonight, and I don't know if you guys can help me on this because I heard that Forsberg was going to go again tonight, make his 4th straight start, and he's playing very well. I understand why they would go with him again. He's allowed just 11 goals over his last 5 games with a .921 save percentage. He looks very good, and Connor Hellebuck has been excellent. We really called that in the beginning of this season.
You called that one, Jimmy the Bag.
Thank you. It's his first All-Star game this year. 23, 4, and 6, 2.36 goals against average, .923 save percentage. Because of this, because of how well these two goalies are playing, I like the under here, regardless of the offense that these two teams have shown. The Jets have won 3 straight, scored 15 goals over that span. They lead the Western Conference in goals at 151. Laine and Ehlers lead the way with 19 each. The Jets have 6 players with double-digit goals. But I think these goalies are playing hot. Alonzo Shivers likes Blackhawks team total over. I think this is a great spot getting a 6. And getting even, I think the play is on the under here.
When is the All-Star break coming up? It's next week, right?
It's the 25th to 29th, I believe.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Hellebuck. See, I'm thinking, also the flip side of my saying is that when the bed is clean, that's when you can shit in it. And do you think that Hellebuck has been doing so great and just comes in with a dud here?
Absolutely not, because he was just told he's an all-star for the first time, and this is a kid who hasn't had a lot given to him. He's had to earn everything he's got in this league. I don't think he's going to sit back in a sauna and get massaged. I think he's going to come in here and play well. Joshua Yanez says Chicago 3-2. I just think Mr. Gogster says I see Glass starting. You know what? Let me see if I can get if I can't get confirmation, I won't make the bet right now. But I think I will be able to. So let me get that. Right.
All right. Yeah. So I was thinking. I was vaguely rolling it around in my head. I was leaning Chicago here, and then I was thinking if I'm going to lean Chicago, I'll probably try to maybe take them on the -1 line, which would be a much bigger underdog line. So I was thinking about the under. I was thinking about Chicago, and because there's a small college basketball slate tonight, I'll just wait to see whether who's confirmed in goal for Chicago, where the line moves, maybe do a little bit more research into this game, and I will hold off. But as of right now, definitely leaning under and definitely leaning Chicago. And
wow, it's Jeff Glass is confirmed now.
There you go. Now I'm not leaning under. Now I'm not leaning Chicago. Right, Jim? Or what do you think? Yeah. Now it's all. Wow. Okay, that does it for that game. You have anything to say about that game? You want to take a Winnipeg here, the over? What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, that changes everything to me. What is the so I only have the over up on here. Let's go with
6.
Yeah, I'm going to study that for a little longer. But if I was to take nuts, I'm going to lay off that game at this point.
Yes. All right. Now let's talk about Vancouver Columbus. Columbus is on a back-to-back. They lost at Buffalo, one of these teams that just can't beat anyone. But I guess they could beat Columbus, and now they're going up against another one, right? Vancouver, awful. Can't win anywhere, but Buffalo's like that, and they won. They were at home, though. Now Vancouver comes in here on the road, and how big should this favorite line be for Columbus? What do you think? And also, is the under too obvious? 6 straight unders for Columbus and Vancouver. Of course, not an under trender on the year, but they have been having problems scoring recently. I don't know. Maybe under, maybe Vancouver first period, something like that. What do you think?
I think is the under too obvious? It just looks so good to me. I can't help but want to take it. I can't take the Canucks until they get Horvat back. Maybe if Brandon Sutter's practicing, he'll be back in a little bit. When he plays, maybe when they have a little more depth down the middle, it makes more sense. But I just can't believe in this knucklehead team right now. Chris Tanev will be back after losing 6.5 teeth versus the Leafs. He will get surgery during the bye week. The Canucks have lost 5 straight overall, 13 of 15. They've lost the first 3 games of this road trip after losing to Washington 3-1 on Tuesday. Very difficult to have any real hope in this hockey team. The Jackets are on the second half of a back-to-back, like you mentioned. While they were losing 3-1 to Buffalo, the Canucks were resting in a Columbus hotel room after practicing on the Blue Jackets ice. So there's some positivity. The only way to talk positive about the Canucks is 20-year-old rookie Brock Boeser has exceeded all expectations, leads the team in points, goals, game-winning goals, power play goals, shots. Will be the Canucks' lone representative at the All-Star game. The Jackets did put 44 shots on goal against Ullmark in Ullmark's first game of the season. They did just manage 1 goal. They continue to have a tough time scoring. They're 27th in goals per game at 2.6, 30th in power play at just 13%. Alonzo Shivers says Columbus the best play. Big Easy Veezy says under, don't overthink it, and that's what I'm thinking too. I'm going to just take the under, and is it a -125? I hope it's not worse than that.
No, the best line would be -115 at Pinnacle right now.
Oh, that's great. That's great.
Okay, so Jim's going to take Columbus under 5.5, -115. That's the line right now at Pinnacle. I'm going to hold off and think about this one. I'm thinking about maybe taking a shot with Vancouver, but you think they're just awful.
It's not that they're awful. It's just down the middle. It's very difficult when you're not winning faceoffs and you're not controlling the puck. So I love Henrik Sedin, but he just can't win faceoffs in a consistent way. And not having Horvat and Brandon Sutter, they just have no strength down the middle at all. And
Alonzo Shivers likes Columbus because I guess he thinks that on a back-to-back off a loss, they're going to come back and have a good game 24 hours later.
Yeah, I mean, Torts, whom I despise, he was the coach of the Canucks, and he's just, he's going to let them have it. He's not going to allow them to play like this, especially they're coming up, I believe, towards their bye. Eric Swiatek says Canucks a sneaky over team. I mean, they haven't been lately, but I hear you.
All right, I'm going to take a little shot here. I'm going to take Vancouver on the first period money line, +140. That's the line right now at BetOnlineSportsBetting.ag. Maybe I'm getting a little bit too cute here, but I'm going to take a shot with it. Vancouver first period +140. I'm adding that one on, and Jim is on the under on that one, 5.5 -115. All right, that's it. That's it for you, Jim?
That's it.
All right, now let's move on to Edmonton, Arizona. Arizona, of course, off of a super long rest, the mandated week off, but they're still a terrible team overall. Edmonton, though, might be even worse right now. I don't know. What do you think? Another one under, or is that too obvious? And Arizona as a home dog against a team that, at least in the last 8 or 10 games, might be even worse than Arizona. I don't know. Leaning under, leaning Arizona home dog. What do you think, Jim?
I think this is a very tricky spot that I'm staying away from. Coyotes are coming off their bye week, like Pete mentioned. And how is that going to play out with these teams? We've only had bye weeks for, I believe, started last year, so we don't have a lot of information on how teams handle that stuff. I would guess that you'd be a little sloppy, The Coyotes just traded Anthony Duclair to Chicago for Richard Panik, picked up Freddie Hamilton from the Flames off of waivers. The Coyotes only have one player over 30 points, Clayton Keller. Derek Stepan has not sparked the offense like expected. 8 goals, 18 assists. He's a -18 in 43 games. Max Domi's been a major disappointment with 3 goals in 43 games. He put up 18 goals and 54 points as a teenager in his rookie season. He's followed that up with 12 goals in 102 games over the last 2 years. Shocking. And speaking of not being able to score, here are the Oilers with 6 goals in the last 4 games. They picked up Al Montoya from the Habs and for a conditional 4th-round pick, and he could be a spark to this team. I'm looking; they're in a back-to-back, so he'll either play today or tomorrow, and I'm looking forward to seeing him play because Cam Talbot's been a major disappointment. The Oilers are as good, if not better, on the road than they have been at home, but they're 3-6-1 in their last 10. There's just too much unknown here. There's too much uncomfort. I'm not making a move on it. That's a pass for me as well. So we've covered the entire card. Here are our official picks so far. I am on the Washington -1 line. Washington -1. I'm also on the first period over on that one, -104. And I took a shot with Vancouver first period money line +140. Jim's on Washington money line +108. The over in Florida and the under in the Columbus game at -115. All right, let's move on to NBA, Jim, shall we? Yep.
All right, let's move on to NBA. I guess we do have to throw the records up, right?
Yep.
Look at this record. You know what my record is right now in the NBA? Jimmy the Bag. I'm down 17.5 units. Wow. And since December 12th, my NBA record is 35-52, -22.5 units, -23.5% ROI. That's in the NBA since December 12th, Jimmy the Bag. Fade away, boys.
I've not been helping.
Unreal. You know what I'm doing right? This is like you know that comedy thing where it's if like you're like super fat and disgusting, you go on stage and take your shirt off and everyone laughs. Like, that's what I'm doing right now, Jimmy the Bag.
Well, you're just being honest and transparent, and everybody respects that. And we saw what you did in baseball this year. There's no reason why this can't happen here.
Well, there is a reason, because I expect myself to be to have a positive ROI in baseball. I don't expect that in the NBA regular season for myself. My numbers haven't been that way over the years. That's the big difference between MLB and NBA, and I still haven't been able to get my spreadsheet down. But what I am going to do is I'm going to take it easy. I'm going to, the Sacramento game yesterday, I guess that was just a terrible pick, and I should have been able to see it.
We didn't know that Blake was going to play.
Right. And then it closed at 3.5. And then the Cleveland game, I guess we should, I did hit the under on the first half, but then the full game just went soaring over. And all right, I'm just going to take it easy. And this is another one of my this is another thing, another inspirational quote that I made up a while ago. If in life, if you want something, you can do it. And so that's what I'm going to try to do here. I want to be even in NBA very soon, and I can do it.
You can.
I can do it. All right, let's get to today's card. We got a big card in the NBA, Jim. Once again, I think you're still positive, up 5 units, but it's getting close there, Jim, right? Hemorrhaging a little bit of units here and there in NBA. All right, let's see. What do I like in the NBA tonight? Let me just find a game that I was thinking about. I think there was something that, all right, let's start off talking about Cleveland, Indiana. Once again, Cleveland is a road favorite. Now they are clearly a dysfunctional team right now. Native Queen says I forgot what her quote was, but she's like staying off them until they can get their shit together. Now, at first glance, a team that's completely dysfunctional. I know they're on a back-to-back where they have a shameful loss, so they're going to try to, get a win here. But Indiana's been a lot better with Oladipo back, and now they're a home dog. What do we think here, Jim?
Yeah, I see the same thing everybody's seeing. Yeah. They're a home dog against the Cavs team that's just getting destroyed night in and night out now. This is the first time in LeBron's career that his team has lost back-to-back games by 25 points or more. The Cavs have lost their last 2 games by a combined 62 points. They allowed 133 points to the Raptors last night, the most in a regulation game in LeBron's career. They've now lost 7 of 10. They're 25th in the league, allowing 108.8 points per game. Isaiah Thomas won't be there tonight. I don't know if he helps when he is there right now. And the Pacers are 2-0 versus the Cavs this year. They defeated them by 17 at home, then stopped that 13-game winning streak in Cleveland with a 106-102 victory. Pacers had won 2 in a row before shooting 1 for 18 from 3 against the Heat. Miles Turner will miss his second straight game with a right elbow injury.
So what do you think, Jim? What's the play here?
For me, so I get it. I get what people are saying here. B. Simpson saying Cleveland is fade material until further notice. Lee Davis says betting the Cavs is toxic. Jay Will says over is the play until Cleveland shows they can stop someone. 5th game of the road trip, back-to-back. Road team is 5-0 against the spread in the second half, says Dan Kelly.
Wait, what's that quote?
5th game of a road trip, back-to-back. Road team is 5-0 against the spread in the second half.
Okay.
Ron Figg says the Cavs are veal. Adam Lastman says Cavs game over. Tomor says Indiana hasn't been the same the last week with Oladipo not 100%, losing 3 of 5.
Where the hell did Dan Kelly get that stat? Was that his? Is that his own spreadsheet, or does he subscribe to some service or something?
Dan's watching, so he'll let us know. Ray Uribe says Cavs 12-28 against the spread in their first 40 games. Cavs should cover. They're angry, but on the back-to-back, I feel the play is over. Tristan Thompson said Big Easy Veezy says Tristan Thompson said last night, we suck in January.
Me too. Right? I always talk about that. I suck in January, and so I'm just like the Cavs. Wow. All right.
Triple Beam says, get back on the Cavs. You're supposed to be scared off them tonight. Alonzo Shiver says, please don't take the Pacers.
Yeah, right.
SJ Shark Ruiz says the Cavs are like that hot girl from far, but far from good.
Yes.
Triple Beam says, get back on the train. Don't blink. Cavs minus 2.5. MC Coates says Pacers were supposed to win last game and blew it. Yeah, but they went 1 for 18 from 3. Triple Beam says Vegas is trapping all the Pacers money. Don't get trapped. Our man Smooth says leave that game alone. Cavs and Pacers. Okay. Dan Kelly says his own spreadsheet.
Oh, very nice. Very nice. Dan Kelly.
Native Queen says over is the play. Jay Will says trap game.
Yeah, I'm
Pacers
trying.
will.
Dan Kelly, I'm trying to make my fucking spreadsheet. I just don't have enough fucking time. I'm going to try to do it this week. I did make some headway last week, but I didn't. I wasn't able to finish it. It's hard. It takes a lot of time to make those big spreadsheets, Jimmy.
It does. It certainly
Maybe
does.
that's why I'm better in baseball, because I made a baseball spreadsheet a long time ago. Haven't had to touch it. Make some additions here and there, but use it year in and year out, and it's great. Wow.
Well, Donald Trump says Indiana straight up is an obvious play. They won't be fixing those issues on the road trip back to back. Cedric White says stay away, and that's what I'm going to do.
Okay, so we're going to stay away from this game. All right, there's a bunch of other games on the card. What are you liking here, Jim?
Well, after last night, it's hard to say these things with the utmost confidence, but I'm going to. First, I'm going to start with two dogs. I'm on the Grizzlies tonight. Nuggets have lost 3 straight. They're coming off a disappointing 110-97 home loss to the Atlanta Hawks, who have the worst record in the league. Nikola Jokic went 4 for 21 from the field versus the Hawks, missed all 8 of his 3-pointers. And this might not just be a one-off. He's having a tough month. He averaged 18.4 points in December. He's averaging just 12.2 in January. This is a young kid. Maybe he's hitting a January wall, which we see other young kids hit. There's good news for the Nuggets. Gary Harris continues to play excellently. He's averaging 22.3 points per game while shooting 62% from the field, 50% from 3 over the last 5 games. Paul Millsap got his cast off, begun light workouts. After the Grizzlies won 105-102 over the Pelicans on Wednesday night, they've now gone 4-4 after that terrible streak of losing 19-21. Tyreek Evans was huge again on Wednesday night, putting up 28 points, being a plus 23 while on the floor. He's averaging 24 points a game over his last 5. Looks like Marcus Gasol's back-to-back double-doubles. Mike Conley's ramping up the intensity in practice, should be back soon. Chandler Parsons remains out of the lineup, but they found no structural damage on his knee. I like the number I'm getting. Mutt Beast says the Grizz all day, and I'm on the Grizz with that big line.
All right, do you want 7 plus 100 or 7.5 minus 115?
I want plus 7 plus 100.
Okay, plus 7. Jim's going to take Memphis plus 7 plus 100. That is the line right there at Pinnacle. The Greek has 7.5 minus 115. And yeah, I was thinking Memphis covered 5 of 6. I was thinking that maybe, Denver is so frustrated that maybe they come out here and roll. I was also thinking about overs, but the total's gotten bet down to open 207.5. Now it's down to 206. What do you think about the total? We know that Memphis can play high scoring if they want to.
They can.
Yeah.
They can. And their point guard now, they're thankfully putting Tyreek back at the 2. But Harrison's good defensively. So all of he's poor offensively, but he makes a lot of that up defensively. Adam Lastman likes the over here. Let's see what else. Tomor says Denver was humiliated at home last game. I'm not betting this game. I think it's a tough game to bet, but Memphis' offense has been better.
All right, I'm going to take...
Adrian Nieder says I like the over on the Grizzlies line.
I don't understand why the line has gotten bet down, but I'll take it. I think it's good enough for right now. I'll take the over 206 minus 105. That's the current line at Pinnacle. We'll see where this line moves. And Jim's on Memphis plus 7 plus 100. What else do you like? We've got a lot of games here. We can't go over, Jim. What else do you like here?
I'm on another dog. I'm on the Suns tonight. Coming off a 121-112 victory over Phoenix on Wednesday night. Houston's now gone 3-2 without Harden. Chris Paul went off for 37. Eric Gordon went off for 30 versus the Blazers. Gordon's averaging 23.2 points per game, starting in place of Harden, looking very good. Gerald Green was signed just 2 weeks ago. He's averaging 21 points a game. Over his last 5, he's hit 26 threes over that span. I don't believe that will continue all season long. There is a reason why he was on that couch. The Rockets have made at least 10 threes a game for 36 straight games, continuing an NBA record, but Nene won't be in the lineup. Tariq Black won't be in the lineup. Harden and Amute are both out still. Suns are 4-3 since Devin Booker came back from injury. They have not played since beating Memphis at home on Sunday night. A lot of time to practice. Dragon Bender. Now, I like Marquise Chris, and I believe he's the guy to go with moving forward, but he left that game in the second quarter with a hip strain, and the Suns changed with Dragon Bender in the lineup. Man, they ever. He put up a career-high 20 points. He looked very good. 4th overall pick, Josh Jackson, who was benched earlier last week, went for 17 points, 10 boards, and 5 assists. That's it. Adding him to their lineup is a big deal. They made a season-high 17 threes. They committed a season-low 9 turnovers. I think they're going to be ready to play. Now, I think the Rockets can and most likely will win this game, but the Suns are getting a bunch of points. I think they can cover.
That's how I was thinking as well, and I think I'm going to double up on this one. I think I'm going to take the first half as well. What do you think about that, Jim?
I went over my records, doubling up, and they've been really hurting me. So I don't mean to not think that's the right play, but it's been hurting me.
All right, well, I am going to double up. Jim's going to take Phoenix at 6.5 market wide, but the Greek still has 7, so we'll give you that one +7 -110. And I'm going to take Phoenix on the full game +7 -110, and also the first half +3.5 -15, -115 market wide. I was thinking that way as well, and I will take them. And what do you think about a shot with the over? It's a high total, but obviously both these teams, well, now it's gotten bet up. It was 226. I actually hit the over when it was at 226. Now it's up to a 228 or 228.5. That's getting a little bit up there, Jim, right?
It's getting up there, and I looked at it too. I just thought it was a little too high, but we got some interesting notes on it. Tolmore says, I think 7 is a big number to lay on the road, but I do think Houston shows up since the game is on national TV. He's not betting the game. Ray Uribe says Suns got blown out last time these two teams played. They will look at the tape. Maybe the under is the play. Interesting
nice comment
stuff
there from Ray Uribe. All right, I'm with you, Jim. I'm taking Phoenix, but again, my record is what it is, so maybe you want to fade. And if you do, good luck. Let's see. What else do you like, Jim? Anything else?
I'm on the over in the Blazers-Pelicans game. I think there's going to be buckets tonight. I think we're starting to see this old Blazers team that we remember, but let's go through it. Pelicans have lost 4 of 6. In their 105-102 road loss to the Grizzlies, they were held to 9 third-quarter points. 9 third-quarter points, and they still put up 102. It's a sign of their offense is pretty good. Their defense is bad. They're not guys you can count on all the time. DeMarcus Cousins added 5 more turnovers to his league-leading total. Anthony Davis has missed the last 2 games with a sprained ankle. He's been upgraded from doubtful to questionable for tonight's tilt. If he does play, that line will move up. The Trail Blazers team that is centered around defense all year is starting to look like their old selves on the offensive end. Wednesday's 121-112 loss at Houston on Wednesday was the 6th straight time that Portland scored over 110 points. They're averaging 114 points, shooting 49.3% over the last 6 games. Lillard's been battling groin and calf issues for the past few weeks. Came back after a 2-game absence. Looked good. 9 for 16, 29 points, 8 assists, 5 rebounds. He needs to distribute the ball better, and I see this Blazers offense rounding into form.
Yeah, let me see. I'm going to pass on that one, but the over is 218.5 -110, Jim.
Taking it.
Okay, that game I just have a not sure ... pass note on the entire card. All right, let's talk about Brooklyn Atlanta. This one's very interesting, right? The Nets blown out at home in their last game, but before that they had covered 6 in a row. Atlanta now returns home after a West Coast road trip, which is very up and down, right? They had some bad spots and they had some nice upset results and some nice covers. We know that Brooklyn's playing tougher defense. I was thinking maybe a shot with the under here and maybe a shot with Brooklyn to rebound off their last loss. What do you think, Jim?
I think this is a tough spot, and I really like both these teams. I've done well. I've had success with them, and now they're playing against each other, and I have not had success when they played against each other for whatever reason. Hawks begin their 6-game homestand. They're 7-11 on the season. They've not been that bad. For the worst team in the league, that's not a bad home record. Atlanta's, or worst record in the league, I should say, not worst team. Atlanta has won 2 of 3 versus the Nets this year, including their last meeting where they won by 20. They won 110-90 in Atlanta. The Hawks are coming off that 110-97 win at Denver on Wednesday to stop the 10-game road losing streak. Atlanta's bigs are finally all healthy again. And that's a big deal moving forward. Unfortunately, they just lost Marco Bellinelli and DeAndre Bembry to injuries. It's too bad because I want to see this team when they're fully healthy. The Nets have lost 3 straight and were destroyed by the Pistons at home by 34 points on Wednesday. I expect them to come out and play much, much better. They were out-rebounded 54-34. They were down by as much as 40 in that game. It was the Nets' worst home loss of the season and followed a stretch of 5 straight games Nets played that were decided by 5 points or less, so it came out of nowhere. And I was on Brooklyn like an idiot at plus 116 in that game. Spencer Dinwiddie scored 2 points after a career-high 31 on Monday. DeMarre Carroll is questionable. He would be a huge help to go against his old team. He plays well against the Hawks. The Nets are just 6-13 on the road. I expect them to play much better. I just felt like when I looked at my bets when these two teams had played against each other, I was quite off, and that led me to believe I don't know what happens when these two teams play each other. Okay, and what do you think about a shot with the under? Because that would be my lean here. Is Brooklyn going to continue to play, a tough defense-oriented game, which they did switch to in the middle of the year? And is Atlanta a team that can be held to a modest scoring game by a team like Brooklyn? What do you think, Jim? They're such different teams now. They're so different because the Nets need to defend the perimeter and take advantage of the perimeter. And the Atlanta Hawks now, with this healthy front court, are going to want to take it inside and take advantage of the Nets' weakness there. So in looking at that, what is the line that you're getting?
211.
Yeah, I don't feel comfortable. Let's see what the guys say in the chat say. Ray Uribe says Brooklyn slowing down the game, maybe first half under better.
And the first half is significantly less than their first half is just 101. Yeah, I was thinking about that as well. 101 and a half.
Mr. Goxer is very interested in this next hot. Cap'n 24/7 says Brooklyn all day. Yeah, I feel like I feel like I've just been so off with these two teams that I don't know if I'm enough of a help.
All right, let's move on. Also, Utah-Charlotte is another game where I was thinking about the under. That one opened at 207.5. Now it's down to 206.5 or 206 or 205.5. Leaning under on that one. I think I'm going to take that one. What's your take on that one? Utah, of course, coming off.
I think that's a very interesting play, and this is a game that we should be able to break down. We should be able to figure this out together. The Jazz had won just 2 of 11 games when they surprised the Wizards on the road, 107-104 on Wednesday night. They played with a lot of heart and hustle. They forced the Wizards into 23 turnovers. The win was just their 4th in 21 games on the road this year, and they did it without the services of Gobert and Favors. Ekpe Udoh was excellent. 16 points, 9 boards. People forget he was drafted 6th overall out of Baylor in 2010. Gobert remains out. Favors is questionable with that ankle sprain. Even if he plays, that ankle sprain for a big man like that's going to slow him down. The Jazz have gone just 3-9 with Gobert out of the lineup. The Jazz have lost the last 3 times they've visited Charlotte. The Hornets have looked awful at home of late. They're 2-7 there since December 6th. Kemba Walker did everything he could to change things against the Mavericks on Wednesday night and came up empty. Put up 41 points in that 4-point loss. Dwight Howard went 5 for 18 from the stripe. But because of injuries, the Jazz... So this is interesting. So because of injuries on both sides, this is the key to this game, is that the Jazz won't be able to employ a hack-a-Howard strategy because of their injuries. And Howard, the Hornets can't take him off the floor because of Cody Zeller's injury. So Howard won't be getting hacked, and he'll be able to beat up this front court. So I think that the Hornets are the play here because of that. Now, we have to question, though, why was Gortat and Mahinmi useless versus the Jazz on Wednesday? Will Howard suffer the same fate? I can't understand, and I went over their numbers, why were they completely useless? That's why the Wizards lost the game. And now Dwight Howard has to be on the floor because of the Zeller injury. I'm surprised that they haven't moved Kaminsky, Frank to the 5 at all, but they must have their reasons. They must understand. Aaron Escobar says, Charlotte getting their coach back tonight? Question mark. I didn't know. I've not heard that. Greg Schneider says, I think Howard dominates tonight with no Gobert. I think he's right. And I hate Howard. But because they're not going to be able to get him out of his rhythm by hacking him because they don't have any backups. I think because Howard stays on the floor, the game will slow down. I'm afraid I lost all my overs yesterday, so I'm afraid to do it. But first off, I like the Hornets. I'm going to take the Hornets in this game. Ray Uribe says Hornets will be angry. Kemba can't be the only player to shore up. I like the Hornets. Smooth likes the Hornets.
So that's definitely an official pick for you, Jim?
That is definitely an official pick.
Okay.
Now,
-4, -110 across the board. And I'm going to take the under on this one, 206.5 -110. That's the current line at Heritage. Other places have 206 or 205.5. So Jim's on Charlotte -4. I'm on the under 206.5. And what else do you want to say about this game, or shall we move on, Jim?
I think we can move on. It seems like everybody's with us except for Norm L. He says, Utah just beat the Wizards on the road. Charlotte's a lot worse than the Wizards. I get that, but for all the dislike I have on Dwight Howard, I think he goes for over 20 boards and over 20 points tonight. Okay,
let's talk about the Golden State game. Obviously, Golden State off a big, embarrassing loss. I believe Steph Curry is questionable for tonight's game. I think he's
questionable.
Questionable. All right, now they're going up against Milwaukee. I don't know. Even though Milwaukee can be a formidable opponent, is Golden State early a no-brainer play here? And what about the over?
Very interesting questions. Steph Curry went through a full practice on Thursday, listed as questionable. In his 5 games back after missing 11, he's averaged 35.2 points, 57% shooting. He clearly has his legs under him, even though he's got this sprained ankle. He went 33 for 62 from 3. Klay Thompson will be back in the lineup after a scheduled off day. Without Klay and Steph, the Warriors lost badly to the Clippers, despite KD going for 14 for 18 from the field, 6 for 7 from 3 for 40 points. The only other player in double digits was Zaza Pachulia, They did look really bad without the two sharpshooters. The Bucks are coming off a 110-103 win at home over the lowly Magic. They didn't look very good. This is such a contrarian thing with these two teams because the Bucks are awful from the three-point line. They went just 4 of 19 versus the Magic. They've only hit 26.5% over the last 3 games. So you have one team that's going to shoot nonstop from the three, and the other team that's going to have to go inside all the time. This is a very interesting spot.
You don't think Golden State first half -2.5 is a no-brainer, easy call?
I do think that is a really good play.
Does it matter if Curry's in or not?
Yeah, I mean, it helps a great deal if he's in. But no, I think Thompson is going to shoot the lights out after getting a rest.
All right, I'm going to go for it. I'm going to take it. Golden State first half -2.5, -112. That's the current line at Pinnacle. Other places at -115 and a couple threes out there. I'm going to take our Golden State first half -2.5, -112. You think that's a mistake, Jim? Anyone in the chat box?
I don't think that's a mistake, but I'm not going to tell it as of yet. Tomor says Golden State struggles with strong frontline players since they don't have a rim protector. I lean over. I think Greek Freak goes off. Greg Schneider says it doesn't matter about Curry. Interesting. Oh, we got a nice comment. It's hard to take these nice comments after I fucking shit the bed. I almost don't want to say it out loud.
You know, that's okay. Say it. It's a comment.
Our man Hako says, best fucking show. Pete and Jimmy, the best research all time. Thanks for what y'all do, man.
Thank you very much, Hako Schofield. Even when there's shit on the bed, the research is second to none, right?
You know, we put the work in.
Yes.
Dave Wolf says, love that call, Pete, on first half, but I think Bucks keep this close. Norm Mel says, I like that Golden State -2.5 first half.
And I'm also going to take the first half over. I'll trust Tomor here. Yeah, I mean, Golden State, when they get rolling, they can, we might see 70 points in the first quarter. So I will take the first half over as well, which is 114 -104 right now at Pinnacle. 114 -104. You think that's an okay thing to do, Jim?
I think both of them are okay. I do. I think both of them are okay. But I'm going to, at this point, leave this game and continue looking at it through the afternoon.
Let's move on. Anything else you want to give Jimmy the Bag?
I do, and I'm curious to see what you guys think of this play because I like it quite a bit. I'm on the under in the Knicks at Timberwolves this evening. The Wolves have won 3 straight games. They're 11 games over 500 for the first time since the end of the 2003-04 season. They've held 7 straight opponents to under 100 points. They're winning games and selling out their arena. There was all this talk about their defense over the last couple of days from the players themselves, talking about how everything has changed. And Taj Gibson was going off on how they're looking into each other's eyes, and they're calling each other out on who is defending the perimeter the most, who is putting out max effort all the time. And I really liked all the comments that were being said. Porzingis remains in a shooting slump, hitting just 37% from the field over his last 5 games. Beasley continues to play well. He put up 26 points and 12 boards. 5 of those boards were on the offensive end. Tim Hardaway Jr. has been through full practices, and his return is imminent. He's listed as questionable. It doesn't matter if he plays. He's not going to be able to change this right now. I think the Timberwolves and their accountability on the defensive end is a really interesting spot that I'm going to try and take advantage of.
Yeah, I mean, they have been a big undertrender over the past 7 or 8 games. Their last few games, though, again, they've been great defensively, but also pretty good offensively, getting big covers at home. And their last bunch, it's not a super low total, but it's kind of a low total, 209. I was thinking that way as well, and also on the first half under as well, Jim. What do you think?
Yes. I mean, that's what I'm thinking as well, but I'm so scared. I'm just so fucking scared. I'm just so fucking emotional and scared and barely fucking sleeping over the last 48 fucking hours.
It's actually almost it's like when you ain't got nothing, you ain't got nothing to lose. It's almost easier for me to make a ton of picks down 17 units than it is for you, still up a decent amount, but on a slide. For me, it's nothing. Whatever. If I lose a whole bunch of games, who cares? For 17 units, 25 units, doesn't matter. But for you, the difference between +5 units and +1 unit. Big difference, right?
It's a huge difference. What's the first half under?
106.5, but you wager has 107. I'm going to double up on this shit.
I'm gonna double up on this.
Really?
Yeah,
okay,
yeah,
I'm taking the first half under 107 -110. Minnesota first half under 107 -110. That it's at you wager, and I'm going to take the full game under 209 -108. That's the current line at Pinnacle. And what are you doing, Jim? Here.
Oh, fuck. So it's under 107 is the first half. I'm on that. And then
full game is 209 -108.
Under 209 -108. And what there's a lot of people There's a lot of some good talk here.
Yeah.
Ray Uribe says I like Minnesota a lot. I see them playing well and pulling away. Second half, definitely. If they haven't done it already. Tomar says Minnesota changed their rotation so they don't play the bench players at the same time. Their depth is better with Teague back. I'm curious, what is their line just to win straight on the spread? Oh,
that's the problem. I wasn't going to take it because it's 9. Ton of points there. Ton of points there. It's 9.
It's a little too much. I do think they can win by double digits. Dan Kelly says, I never share my spreadsheet with anyone. I've put too much work into it, but Pete and Jimmy can have that spreadsheet and my only child if they want it.
Really? No, because I would like to. I would like to compare data just to make sure that my data is clean. And I would. I'm the same way. I wouldn't share my spreadsheet with anyone, but I would share it with Jim. I already gave you one. Remember?
Yeah, absolutely.
And I'll give you another one. I would share my spreadsheet with select few. Dan Kelly, I might take you up on that one because I just don't have enough fucking time, man.
Time is the fucking biggest problem. I'm losing my fucking mind. Not enough fucking time. Sports Have Balls says whether the one of the sweetest things that I've seen in a long time. And you guys, this means so much to me. Yesterday was my worst day since I got here October 1st. Sports Have Balls says whether you like it or don't like it, learn to love it. Because the Loshak and Jimmy the Bag Show is the best thing going today. And then a big woo, all in capitals.
There, save all those comments. Save all those comments here. Thank you so much. We're gonna start a fucking crowdfunding thing. We're gonna raise $20. We're gonna get a charger. I'm going to have the comments. I'm going to be able to read comments, and I love that shit. Thank you so much. I appreciate everything. All right, we got to quickly wrap it up. So, Jimmy the Bag, are there any other, what were you just talking about? Was there any other games? What didn't we get to here?
Sorry, let me get that saved.
No, that's right. Yeah, get it saved, and I will review the picks that we've given, and Jim, tell me if there's any other comments that are interesting of note. In NBA, Jim's on Charlotte -4, New Orleans over 218.5, Memphis +7 +100, Phoenix +7, and the Minnesota game, first half under 107 and the full game under 209. In NBA, I am on Golden State, first half -2.5 and the first half over 114. The Denver game over 206. Phoenix, first half +3.5 and the full game +7. The Charlotte game under 206.5 and the Minnesota game, first half under 107 and the full game under 209. And that's it for me in NBA.
I do have a play.
Oh, okay.
I do have a play, and I just want to make sure that the line hasn't fucked me.
Did we touch on every game?
No. Okay. I am going to take the Magic tonight.
Oh, right.
Double-digit dog here. I think they can keep it within, and I believe do I have at least +10.5?
Yeah.
Do I have more than that?
+10.5, -110.
No. I'll take +10.5. The Wizards continue to play down to the level of their opponents. The Jazz had lost 13 of 16, and then they beat the Wizards without their 2 starting big men, and their leading scorer got ejected in the third quarter. The Wizards shot 52.3% from the field, but went just 8 for 22 in the fourth quarter again. They can't be counted on the fourth quarter. They committed 23 turnovers. Wall went for 35 points, 11 assists, but committed 8 turnovers. They are 12 and 11 against teams with losing records. Only 3 teams in the East have at least 9 losses for teams with losing records. They have 11. The Magic have lost 6 in a row, 26 of 30. One thing I kind of like about the Magic here is that in Wednesday's 110-103 loss to the Bucks, very close game, Aaron Gordon went 4 for 18 from the field. He's not going to do that again. Orlando's 27th in the league in scoring defense, allowing 110.8 points per game. Should the Wizards be 10+ point favorites?
Wizards are off 2 straight up home losses as a favorite. I'm sure Dan Kelly can answer that question, what kind of a spot that is. Orlando has been bad ATS on the year, but a little less bad ATS on the road. Still a negative record ATS, but less bad ATS on the road than they have been at home. And they got absolutely blown out in the first game, so maybe they have that in their mind. That was actually kind of recently. That was in late December. So sure.
I'm taking it.
Okay, plus 10.5, -110. You might be dead on there, Jimmy the Bag. Sometimes those big road underdogs in the NBA are just, not all the time, but there can be spots where it's just like they just don't overthink it. They just should not be that big of an underdog. I might look into that one a little bit more myself. All right, so what, we got other funny comments?
Oh, just everybody knows I'm chock full and angry. I think I've got 3 dogs tonight, and I almost want to say, and I shouldn't, but I almost want to say I almost guarantee 2 of them hit. I got Suns +7.
Yes,
I got
like that
Grizzlies +7.
Okay,
and I got the Magic +10.5. I'm telling you, I like these spots very, very much.
My opinion on those is that if I had to pick one that's least likely to cover, I would say Memphis. That's the one I'm liking the least, just because Denver is they're a little bit pissed off. They're at home. It's not a huge line, and I feel like they might roll here. So out of those three, I like Phoenix the best, Orlando second best, and then Memphis the third best. All right, that's it. That's it, right, Jimmy the Bag?
That's all the games.
Okay, here's what we're gonna do. You scan the comments, see if there's any other comments that are coming in. Make one final save of all the comments so you can email it to me. And while you're doing that, I will recap all of the NBA and NHL picks that we've got. Actually, we didn't even talk about college basketball. But okay, so do that, and I will review all the picks, and then we'll move on very quickly to college basketball. Okay, cool. So all of Jimmy the Bag's picks in NHL: Washington money line plus 108, Florida over 5.5, Columbus under 5.5. In the NBA, Jim's on Orlando plus 10.5, Charlotte minus 4, New Orleans over 218.5, Memphis plus 7, Minnesota first half under 107 and the full game under 209, and Phoenix plus 7. In NHL, I'm on Washington minus 1, the Washington game first period over, and Vancouver first period money line plus 140. And in the NBA, I'm on Golden State first half minus 2.5 and the Golden State game first half over 114. I'm on Phoenix first half plus 3.5 and the full game plus 7. The Denver game over 206. The Charlotte game under 206.5 and the Minnesota game first half under 107 and the full game under 209. And let's quickly move on to college basketball. We can throw the college basketball record up. Why not? Why not?
Mine's terrible.
Yeah, mine is. I'm still positive, but I'm definitely tanking in college basketball. I think I'm going to start to be a little bit better though. Soon. Again, this is like, I expect myself to be a lot better in college basketball going forward. Not necessarily in NBA, but we'll see how it turns out. I told from the beginning of the show, early to mid-January is always the worst spot for me in the college basketball season. Late January is when I start to pick things up again, and February has always been a good to great month for me. So I'm expecting to have another positive February, although that could easily not happen as well. But, I am hopeful for the rest of college basketball season. Tonight we have a very modest card tonight. We have, some Ivy League games, some, let's see what we got here in college basketball. Yeah, some Ivy League games, some Middle American Conference games, Youngstown State, Detroit. That's an interesting matchup. So hopefully you'll be able to find some nice edges in college basketball tonight, and we will be back with all those plays at 6 o'clock Eastern time. I'll also talk a little bit about MMA, which I did cover, and I'm starting off with a clean slate in MMA in 2018, which is not good because I killed it in 2017 in MMA, but win, lose, or draw, I'll start off each year with a clean slate in MMA, and we'll talk about MMA a little bit in the afternoon show. And NFL. We will also talk about the divisional round games in the NFL. Jimmy and I. Actually, let's throw a fucking NFL record up there. Let's throw this shit up there. If we're going to show all our shitty records, hey, Wadma, you there? Let's throw a fucking NFL record up there. Look at this shit. I'm up, I don't even know. I don't have it in front of me, but killing it in NFL. Both Jimmy the Bag and I. I'm off of a 7th place finish in the Loshak the Bag contest. Hit about 60% this year in NFL. So there you go. Look at that shit right there. Look at that shit. Loshak the Bag, NFL records for 2017 season. Very nice. Very nicely done. Look, if we're going to show our negative records, we're going to show our negative records, but we're damn sure going to show our positive records, and we're damn sure going to draw attention to it and make sure people notice. You know what I'm saying? All right, let's wrap this shit up. That's it. We are seeing someone at the door. We're going to wrap it up right now, and we'll be back at 6 o'clock Eastern time, college basketball picks and everything else. Thanks, everyone, for tuning in.